Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Montreal Canadiens franchise mode series, and today we finish up the 2023-2024 season, but not before making a few more changes. Now, we are currently in third place in our division, 10 points clear of Tampa, despite them having played one less game. We are, however, still going to trade away Jonathan Drouin and Jesse Puljujärvi, pretty much the last two big pieces of the core that we previously had. Of course, Philip Deneau is still here, Norris, Farabee, but for the most part, a lot of new names, even if someone like Garlock, I know, and Conklin have been around for a bit. A lot of new names, a lot of new faces. Well, if they had faces, I mean, obviously it's just the black default picture. You get the point. We're turning the page. We have already turned the page. We're turning another page here in this episode, so let's get right down to business. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, who are you going after? Is it going to be two forwards, a forward and a defenseman, maybe even a goaltender? And if you guessed goaltender, you'd be right. Now, while there isn't another goalie the caliber of Spike Richmond, which is why we went out and acquired him, there is one other goaltender who may just be good enough, if not right now, very soon. And he's also going to be relatively easy to acquire, that being 21-year-old Phil Shea, currently a 77 overall. Now, with the Vancouver Canucks this season, he's not doing all that well. However, he is being played out of his role, and the Canucks are an underperforming team, 21-23-6. The other option would be on the Chicago Blackhawks. Indeed, it would be. It'd be Fletcher, 77 overall at 21 years old. He is doing incredibly well down in the AHL this season. Only 11 games, but a .942 save percentage. Thankfully, Phil Shea is pretty much just as good at the AHL level. The year before, actually this year, he has 8 games, a .941 save percentage. So Phil Shea is without a doubt our main target when it comes to goaltenders. And it helps, too, that the Canucks are willing to trade him, because that means we'll more than likely be able to use Jonathan Drouin to get this deal done, and then we can use Puljujärvi to get somebody else back in return. So we will try to use Drouin here. Of course, the one issue will be cap, because of the ungodly amount of cap that he has. And we can retain salary if we absolutely need to. We could just hold on to Atkinson's deal as well, despite that being an abysmal contract. There is no other way to put it. That is a bad contract. But maybe he'll retire. And actually, at this point, we wouldn't even have to retain salary as it stands. Well, that won't go through straight up. No, but it was at least worth a shot. So we'll see if we can take Cam Atkinson as a part of this deal. 34, if he ends up being 35, there's a chance that we could get rid of him. Of course, we had to sign Jonathan Drouin just to be cap compliant. So $4.175 million Cam Atkinson's deal, not a problem whatsoever. To even this out, we're also going to give up on Alex Lyon. Unfortunately, he's only signed through the end of the year. Well, actually, it should probably be Wall. That way, Hallinen's the backup, Lyon as the fifth-string goaltender. So we'll add Wall onto the deal. And from here, we're more than likely looking at draft picks. Again, we still have plenty of them heading into this next draft, where we will continue to be able to do some damage in rebuilding this team. We'll see if fifth-round picks are enough to get us over the edge here. Hopefully it is. We'll even tack on the fourth from Ottawa. Not enough. That's okay. That's okay. We have the picks to use. Let's use Calgary's third. I know the value is still pretty far off, right? But you can't blame me for trying to be as stingy as I am. There you go. See, case in point. We're actually not that far off. I'd say one more third might be enough. If not, one more fifth. Yeah, so see, that's still just low. So I'm hoping it'll be the fifth. Maybe the fourth will work. The fifth would have worked, but they'd have to put Jake Virtanen on waivers. So we're going to have to really make this deal worth their while, which isn't a big deal whatsoever. Might have to throw a second-round pick in there, but that's fine. We're getting back a goaltender who will more than likely be our backup for the considerable future. So let's see, who has the lowest value second? We'll go with Pittsburgh, and we'll see what they think of that. We'd still have to sweeten it just a touch. That's okay. Should I have gone through and maybe seen what it would have taken to get these deals done? Perhaps. Is that enough? It is. Okay, let me see if there's anything, just because I don't know. Actually, here, you know what? I don't even need to get a pick back. Let's just say I use a 5th rounder. Is that enough? No. Okay. Well, we're not going to have to give up that much, right? It'll at least be worth their while here very shortly. It's looking like a 3rd round pick is going to be what it takes. So Jonathan Drouin, who didn't want to re-sign with us anyway, we brought him back for 1 year by giving him a ton of money. We're going to send him to Vancouver, along with Joseph Woll and Pittsburgh's 2nd and 3rd for Shea and Atkinson. And just to double check here, Pittsburgh's doing incredibly well, so they're going to be low picks. This is going to work out fairly well for us, I would hope. And of course, Shea will be the starter down in the AHL, at least for the rest of this season. Let's go ahead. Oh, really? Oh, don't do that to me, EA. That sucks. Are you kidding me? What if I tack on a 5th? What if I have to give up an extra 5th? Okay, whatever. I'll do it. That's so dumb. What if I take it out now? That is so dumb, but whatever. I'll do it. We'll use the extra 5th from Calgary. There you go. Jonathan Drouin off to Vancouver. We acquire goaltender Phil Shea. One for the future. We can send him down. Unfortunately, we would be under the cap. So the veterans I'm going to have to sign for the 4th line, which I should probably go do right now, are going to need that, big time bump in salary just to offset the fact that we had to hand Jonathan Drouin a decent contract. Of course, the problem is we play a game tonight, so that could be a little bit of a problem, but we'll see what happens. So, I'm trying to think here. At the very least, just sign 2 players. It doesn't matter who. We'll look for forwards, although we do have Cam Atkinson now. So maybe just hand 1 person a big-time deal. Who's a veteran at this point who still wants a decent money offer? Let's take a look. Who's the veteran on the free agent list at the moment? I did not think it would take this long to find somebody who actually still wanted to get paid. Let's just set it up this way then, once again. I guess we'll go with, I don't know, Kuhnhackl? Austin Watson, Arturi Lehkonen. We could bring him back as if he deserves that contract. Let's go with Tom Kuhnhackl. Why not? Damn it, he wants a 2-way deal. I think it's going to be Graham Knott or Lehkonen. Let's go with Graham Knott. Arturi Lehkonen does not deserve that big-time deal. We have seen what he has been able to do in a Habs uniform in the past. Not exactly eager to see him return to Montreal anytime soon. So once Graham Knott signs, we'll be able to have a little bit more flexibility. Although we do still have to get rid of Puljujarvi. And I'd like to do that now. I don't exactly want to risk him getting injured. So let's go ahead and try and get that deal done. And I found my main target. He's on the San Jose Sharks. It works out relatively well, so we don't have to, trade for somebody within the Eastern Conference, let alone our division. And the target is Cole Atkinson, former 2nd overall pick from the Sharks, the highest scoring, or the 2nd highest scoring player, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember, how many points did you have, Atkinson? 44. There was a guy on Detroit, Finger, who had 48. And Peltier on Detroit also had 45 points. So Atkinson was the 3rd. I mean, I should have just been able to, obviously 44, but I was looking at the short list in front of me that I wrote down. Bottom line, Atkinson is the target. He's proven that he can put up goals, which is nice. And honestly, I might not have to sign anybody else. We are still going to have to give up parts to make this work, but it will be worth it. And then, of course, aside from this, the only question is whether or not Cale Makar is all right with being a 3rd pairing guy. Of course, we don't really have anybody else to get rid of, so it's going to be draft picks to make this happen. But again, I am okay with that. I am trying to lowball them to an extreme level. I completely understand that. Don't worry, I get it. But this is intentional. I want to give up as little as possible, considering we are giving up on Puljujarvi to begin with. We're going to have to give up a second rounder. Let's give up the Nashville pick is fine. Will that go through? No, it won't. Case in point about this being expensive. So we're looking at 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks. Is that enough? We're looking at 3 second-round picks and a third-round pick. I mean, we own half the second round, so it's not like it's a big deal. 3 second-round picks and a third. 4 second-round picks and Jesse Puljujarvi. We'll give up the Vegas selection. Why not? Will that go through? It's just a bit low, so we cannot get this deal done without giving up a first-round selection, of which we have 7. So the Philadelphia Flyers and the Toronto Maple Leafs have the lowest value. Let me check here. So Toronto, 31 wins. Philly, 33 wins. So it's basically irrelevant to what pick I end up letting go of here. So again, we'll go with Atkinson. And we'll give up a first-round selection this year. Let's go with the Philly pick, I guess. They do technically have more wins. I want to tack on these 2 picks as well at the end. Is that enough? No, it is not. We'll go with the Philadelphia third as well. Still not enough. All right, let's add another third-round pick in there. First, fourth. Actually, I don't want to give up our own third. We might make the playoffs. Never mind. Is that enough? Still no. Good Lord. I knew this would be expensive. Didn't think it would be this expensive. A first and 3 thirds. Wow. All right. All right. I mean, obviously, I know I didn't technically kind of even out the value. I was just hoping they'd really value that first pick. So let's go with the Philly first, second, and third, and Calgary's third as well. Still not enough. It's going to have to be a first, 2 seconds, and a third to have this go through. We'll give up the Nashville pick. Is that enough? Jesse Puljujarvi, a first, second, and third, technically Phillies, and Nashville's second for Atkinson. Is that enough? Yes, it is. Cole Atkinson, welcome to Montreal. We've had to say that quite a lot as of late, but Cole Atkinson is here. And this team continues to change, but I'd argue continues to change for the better. Can I send down Phil Shea? Yes, I can. Okay, cool. So let's take a look here. At the moment, Cam Atkinson's in our lineup. That's not going to continue to be a thing. We are going to have to look for replacements. Although Graham Knott could just play. To be honest, Philip Deneau's back down to the 4th line. We could just go with Roussel, Deneau, and then Atkinson or Knott at this point. So that works. I am going to put Edward Cizik on the 3rd line. As was pointed out, he only has 78 offensive awareness despite having a great puck skills category and a great defensive category. So we'll keep him on the 3rd line to see how he continues to progress. Which hopefully the answer to that is he continues to develop fairly quickly and everything works out for us. That would be wonderful. But from there, I do need to figure out, we only have so few righties. Atkinson can play center, but I want him on the 1st line. So what do we do? Conklin's not the best center. Cizik's not the best center, despite having... All of these guys have good defensive categories. So it's not a major loss. And Atkinson can be a great two-way as well. It's not a major loss to have to play somebody perhaps slightly out of position. You know what? Let's go... What do I want to go with here? Garlock? 22 points. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. So I think we'll go Highnote, Cizik, Conklin, Garlock, Norris, Simmons, Farabee, Cunning, and Atkinson. So Joel Farabee getting played a little bit above where he should. But I'm willing to give him the opportunity because why not? We're still, very much in that redevelopment phase for this team. And then, of course, on defense, we'll see if Cale Makar is willing to play third pairing minutes despite having power play time. That's the big question. Down in the AHL, let's go with best lines. Goaltender is Phil Shea. He is the only prospect on that team. The only person that we care about on that team. Everyone else is just collecting a paycheck until the end of this year when we let go of them. That's all they are there for at this point. Let's go ahead and sim this Anaheim game. Guillaume Brisebois on waivers. Vancouver's letting him go. Expiring deal. It's funny, they said they were going to put Jake Virtanen on waivers. I guess they changed their mind. Not a terrible defenseman, but really no reason to claim him. I mean, I could. I just wonder, though, if I claim him, is that going to cancel out? You know what? I can't claim him. I got to make sure we sign Graham Knott. 4-1 win over the Ducks. Not too bad. Graham Knott accepts. So let's go ahead and either play him on the fourth line, or it will still be Cam Atkinson. Cole Atkinson is actually our leading scorer now at this point. Graham Knott is already down in the AHL. Let's go best lines again. He's a lefty, actually, so we'll just leave him there. That works out. So this team is pretty much good to go. It's just a matter of whether or not we're going to make the postseason. There is still a really solid chance of that happening. Although, you know what? The one thing I forgot to do as we look at captaincies, of course, it's Cunning, Deneau, and Lucic as our current leadership core. And I think I want to make changes. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass, which it very well could. Noah Juleson needs an alternate, for sure. Philip Deneau, we'll see what he ends up with. What else do we want to do here? Lucic. I mean, I could put it back with Cunning. Josh Norris, I'm not entirely sold on. Cunning, Lucic, one of those two. I'm going to give it back to Lucic because he's killing it. He is killing it. And of course, you knew this was coming. Captain Philip Deneau. Who better? Aside from maybe Noah Juleson himself. That was my runner-up option. But we'll give the captaincy to Philip Deneau. And then down in the AHL, I don't even know why I changed it over. It does not matter who the captain is at all. Unless it's wrong. Hold on. No, hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back. It might actually matter. EA, you want to change that over? Man, that takes forever. Not sure why. That used to be relatively seamless. Kind of like the puck pickups. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I'm joking. Oh, God. All right. Oh, Heinz, sorry. Lorentz, sorry. Chizowski, sorry. No, Graham Knott. I didn't mean to give you that alternate. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. So sorry. Chris Rumble's captain. Andrew Smith is an alternate. And Ryan Graves or Joe Hicketts. I'm going Ryan Graves. Joe Hicketts was not really a featured player in rebuilding Hockeytown, whereas Ryan Graves, at least played a role in the Manhattan Project. That is why that's a thing. Also, the Laval Rocket currently in second place in their division. No chance of catching the Syracuse Crunch, but they did have a little bit of reinforcements come into the team with the goaltending change and the addition of the dude that we signed for the fourth line. Cannot remember his name. Graham Knott. That was his name. We lost 3-2 to LA in overtime. Of course, a pity point goes a long way at this point in the season. We are going to continue to scout goaltenders as well. Obviously, with the last draft, taking 5 goaltenders was not the plan, but knowing that we unfortunately didn't end up with too much information scouting-wise as I continue to primarily focus on the CHL players instead of Europe, knowing that we didn't have too much help, it was a safe bet to go with goaltenders. It worked out as far as players having decent trade value, and it certainly helped us, turn this team into what it currently is today. As again, we will edit the scouting assignment. Let's go 5 weeks for the forwards in the queue as we snap 2-game losing streak, and now we're on a 2-game winning streak. Can we make it 3? It's really not a winning streak until you win 3 in a row. Can we beat the Panthers? No, we cannot. We're continuing to play maybe slightly above 500 hockey for the month. 36 wins, 35 for the Rocket. Let's go ahead and sim to deadline day. It's a leap year, don't you know? We'll see if we can get the win on the 28th. Again, I think our team is good to go. So let's keep moving. We lose to Ottawa in the shootout. Unfortunate. But a pity point is good enough for me. 2 straight wins. We win the last game in February and start the month off with a nice 3-0 shutout over the 34-win Colorado Avalanche. So it's actually not a bad way to start things off for this month. Unfortunately, Detroit has caught us. They are 2 points ahead with a game at hand. So that's a little bit of a problem. Although you'd like to think Tampa's not going to be able to catch us. However, they could end up with 73 points in the same amount of games. So they could really only be 9 points back. We're not going to catch Toronto more than likely. I mean, we're 5 points back. There's a race. There is a race for that division title. No doubt about it. Joel Farabee's killing it right now. The top line in general, I feel like they're killing it. That second line seems like they're stepping up. Third line's struggling a little bit, but we are going to keep it all the same. Cam Atkinson has sucked on that fourth line. What an awful contract that is. God damn. I could call Knott up and put him on the left. I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to make this team a little bit better. The goal wasn't to make the playoffs, but hey, if we can, we might as well. We might as well. So let's go ahead. Oh, come on. Graham Knott. Thank you. Thank you. We might as well make it. I mean, sure, it'll make our draft pick a little bit worse. But really, what kind of damage is that going to do to our chances of ending up with a good pick? As it is, we have quite a few first-round picks, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Oh, we might as well... Yeah, you know what? Let's just keep the team the same. Best team possible. Let's go. Let's continue the sim. It's going to be a very competitive month with Toronto and Detroit. Not to mention, we do have to worry about the Tampa Bay Lightning, even though they're on pace to be 9 points back. We play the 27-win Islanders, 31-win Sabres, and the 21-win Devils. 2 out of 3. Minimum. 2 out of 3 for this to be a successful week. We do start the week off with a 2-1 win over the Islanders, a 5-2 loss to Buffalo, a 5-2 win against the Devils. Okay, so we at least hit our bare minimum goal of 2 out of 3. We play the Detroit Red Wings, then we play the Florida Panthers. We got to win at least one of them. You'd like to think we're going to win the Florida game. You never know. Can we beat Detroit, though? No, we can't. 5-1 loss. We do bounce back, though, with the 3-0 shutout win over Florida, which is what you would have expected. We're up to 41 wins on the season. Where are we at in the standings? And unfortunately, wow, Detroit's just on the run. They are on the run of their lives right now, up to 96 points. We are 4 points back of Toronto, 8 points back of Detroit. Could be as few as 6 points back if we win our next game. Buffalo and Tampa, both 13 points back, although Buffalo could be as few as 11 points back. It's looking good, but it's also looking a lot more likely that we're going to end up being on the road to start things off in the postseason. Another big week here. We play Tampa, Arizona, they're not great. Ottawa, they're not great. Columbus, they're not great. 4 winnable games. I'd like 3 out of 4. That would be an ideal week. And we start off trading wins. Can we beat Ottawa? Yes, we can. Can we get that 3 out of 4 week? Yes, we can. All right. All right. Again, 4 for 4 would have been tremendous. I'm not complaining about 3 wins out of 4. Not at all. That is a solid week for us. We're up to 44 wins now. Let's take a look at the standings yet again. It's pretty crazy that we have what's the word I'm thinking of? I was going to say it's confirmed that we have a postseason spot. We have clinched a playoff spot, 2 points back of Toronto, tied in games played. Detroit with 101 points. So we still have a chance here to take home ice advantage away from Toronto. The Buffalo Sabres are 12 points back. They could be 10 points back. Unless we just collapse again, which we have seen before in this series, we should be all right. Playing the 39-win Hurricanes, the 33-win Vancouver Canucks, 34-win Lightning, 25-win New Jersey Devils. 3 out of 4 would be tremendous. 2 out of 2, or 2 out of 4 at the very least. We cannot walk away with anything less than 2 wins this week. So come on. That's a bad start. That's a real bad start. These last 2 games are must-wins, and we get them both, thankfully. Again, a 3 out of 4 week would have been nice. We weren't able to get it. We lost the first 2 games. Unfortunately, we have 4 games left to go, including a gigantic game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, which could decide who gets home ice advantage. We are currently ahead of Toronto via tiebreaker. Currently on 98 points in 78 games played. Nobody's catching Detroit, although they haven't yet clinched. It is possible that, either us or Toronto could catch them. Not very likely. They'd basically have to lose all 4 games. So right now we are battling it out with Toronto. We know we're going to the postseason. We know that we're more than likely playing Toronto, barring a miracle. It's just a question of who will have home ice advantage. And I said that game on April 6th could be the deciding factor. It's looking like it absolutely will be. So we're playing the 28-win Minnesota Wild. This should be a victory. It is. It took until overtime to get it, but a win is a win, and 2 points are 2 points. We're playing the 36-win Lightning. Although I do want to take a look at our lineup because it said Cale Makar might not be 100%. The good thing is as well, Toronto lost. Toronto lost, which is huge for us. Is Cale Makar 100%? No, he is not. So we have to take him out of the lineup. I am not risking him getting hurt and missing the postseason. So I'm glad I paid attention to that. Oh, who do we want to call up here? Padan, White. I'm going to call up Vainio. Yes, because he's a righty. That is literally the only reason. I'm going to call him up because he is a right-handed shot. He will replace Cale Makar for this game. Play with Norm Jenks on the 3rd pairing, and technically we'll have power play time, so we'll see if he's able to make the most of that. We'll put Juleson and Hughes together, Franzen and Lucic. Actually, you know what? No, we'll keep Juleson on the top pairing. Patrick Lucic, my God, what a beast. In fairness, Quentin Hughes, what a beast. A very respectable season for him. Let's go. Let's go. 3 games left. We need 2 wins. 2 wins in 3 games would clinch home ice advantage. Can we get the first one here against Tampa? Cale Makar is back to 100%, and we get the win. Again, it might have been in overtime or in the shootout, but a win is a win. Those are crucial points, and now we face Toronto Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. The biggest game for us this season. If we win, we guarantee ourselves the 2nd place spot in the Atlantic Division and home ice advantage in the first round. By the way, Tampa really fell off, didn't they? Wow, they had a really rough stretch. Buffalo ends up clinching a playoff spot. Detroit wins the division title. Hockey Town rising. Let's go. Can we get the win? A win here seals it. 4-1, baby. A Leafs fan's favorite scoreline. and the Habs secure at the very least a 49-win season. We make it 50. It wasn't pretty. A 6-5 win on the last day of the season. What a stretch for us, though. 6-game winning streak to end the season. We won 8 out of our last 10 games to get there. 8 wins in our last 10 games to hit the 50-win mark and to steal home ice advantage away from the Leafs in round 1. 50-26-6 is our final record. The Laval Rocket finished with 46 wins, which is not too bad for an extremely thrown-together team with basically no actual prospects. We finished 5 points behind Detroit. Wow, what a season. What a season. Let's take a look at the Rockets. Second. Oh my God, the Syracuse Crunch. 126 points. That is unreal. The Rocket managed to get second place over Utica. They'll be playing the Comets in the first round. They beat them on tiebreaker. We had 2 more wins this season. That is absurd. We'll take a look at the stats in a moment. I want to start off by looking at any player progression. Of course, we basically only have to worry about things at the NHL level. As mentioned, I'm only going to be paying attention to natural growth rather than statistical/current growth. Regardless, Patrick Lucic had a great season. He went up by 2, maybe 3 if you want to consider it that way. You see, at the moment, it says Kurt Cunning's no longer a 90, which is a little bit concerning. You'd like to think that's because of morale. Tough way to read it. Atkinson currently showing up as an 88. Jared Franzen had a great season, up from a 78 to an 85. Jonas Simmons as well, up from a 75 to an 82. He's had a tremendous season. Kip Conklin went up 1 point to an 81. That is pretty much that, although at the AHL level, Shea is still a 77. All right, that's pretty much all we had to worry about when it comes to player development. But a big-time season for 2 of our major acquisitions from this prior offseason. We're going to the playoffs with this team. That is crazy. Let's take a look at team stats. Of course, again, we finished second in the Atlantic, 5th league-wide with 106 points. Detroit actually won the President's Trophy. That is a little bit surprising. Goals for per game. We were outside of the top 10. 2.9 goals for per game. The highest in the league was a 3.32 for the Detroit Red Wings. Goals against per game was a 2.41, which was the 3rd lowest total in the league. Defense and goaltending, we were 3rd best when it came to goals against per game. Not too shabby. Our power play percentage was at 21%. Not top 10, but not too bad either. Top in the league was basically 26% for the LA Kings. And our penalty kill was at 80.3%. So the penalty kill struggled a little bit. Not awful, middle of the road. That's something that we might want to address. But again, an 8-2 record down the stretch. Nobody was better. Washington, Colorado, Calgary, and Edmonton. Well, really, Edmonton, I'd say, is on the best stretch right now. No losses in regulation over their past 10 games. Of course, down in the AHL, we know that the Laval Rocket did relatively well. 9th in the league. I wanted to take a look at Detroit, and I want to take a look at Syracuse. So let me do that before we take a look at our team. We'll take a look at our team in depth. So the President's Trophy winning Detroit Red Wings. At forward, Vladimir Tarasenko, Dylan Larkin, John Finger. Of course, they have quite a few players we were considering going after, including Finger, Peltier, and Kent Hartnell. They still have Thomas Tatar. Andreas Athanasiou is there. Vander Kane, Anders Lee, Philip Zadina, Michael Rasmussen, Abdelkader, and Gordy Krestanovich, another player that we were potentially looking at. So, talk about homegrown talent. Talk about homegrown talent. Detroit sucked for the majority of this series, but it's finally working out for them. Their defense is a little bit questionable. Matt Niskanen, Vili Saarijarvi, Christopher Tanev, Joe Mora, Patrick Nemeth, Jamie Oleksiak, and Dalton Prout as a depth player. The goaltender is 82 overall, Michael Hutchinson. Because that's what this sim engine does. And what does it do? Say it with me now. Whatever the hell it wants. That is the correct answer. The Syracuse Crunch. Jacob Markstrom, an 82 overall goalie. Okay, that certainly helps. On defense, Nicholas Bergfors, not that one. Chris Fitzpatrick, Dylan Blugis is still there. No major game changers on defense, that's for sure. Forwards, Bo Bennett, Sam Bitten. Okay, 279s and 80 helps. Brock McGinn. Okay, so they just have a really good offense. Like, they have NHL-level depth players, Reed Boucher as well. They have NHL-level depth players on their team. That explains it. And a backup-level goaltender at an 82 overall. Let's take a look. My God, Nikita Kucherov. Let's take a look at our team stats from this season. Cole Atkinson, who we acquired in this episode, ended up leading the team with 77 points in 83 games. Of course, he played the extra game between us and the San Jose Sharks. 27 goals in the year. Joel Farabee, say what you want, decent season. 33 goals, 34 assists, 67 points, a plus 34 as well. Kirk Cunning, maybe not the ideal season that we thought he might have had. 53 points isn't too bad, though. I mean, hell, you might say that he was dragged down by Drouin and Puljujarvi. I don't know. Josh Norris with 44 points, but he was a 30-goal scorer as a playmaker. EA, you never know. Preston Garlock, 5 goals, 37 assists, 39 points for Philip Deneau, not too shabby. 35 for Jonas Simmons in his rookie year. Edward Cizik, only 26 points. That is concerning. And given the circumstances here, we may have to look at moving him. I mean, the hope was that the offensive awareness would improve. He is only 21 years old. But there are other players on the list that we could look to acquire if it turns out that he's not exactly the best offensive option. Could even swap him over. I mean, we might even end up with the number 1 overall pick. So Cizik's future might not be set in stone. Kip Conklin, only 23 points. That is relatively disappointing. And Murray Heino, very disappointing. Only 18 points. The question is, how difficult do we want to be on some of these players for underperforming this year? One person who didn't underperform, Spike Richmond, 52 appearances, a .933 save percentage. Mike Condon with 31 appearances, only a .908. So not the best season from our backup. Around the league, what are we looking at here around the league? Hutchinson, of course, led the league in wins. Points by defenseman went to Drew Doughty, Erik Karlsson, Patrick Lucic. They made up the top 3. Forwards, of course, it was Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, Vladimir Tarasenko. A lot of the usual suspects, with the exception of Colin White. 78 points. I do wonder, as Greening was somebody else we were looking at possibly acquiring, Peyton Krebs. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Where are some of our familiar names from this series? I haven't really seen any so far. It's taken a while to find some familiar names. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Starting to feel a lot better. Hey, there he is. Jonathan Drouin, 60 points in 82 games. Outscored by Joel Farabee. Just saying. Max Pacioretty, 59 points. Gallagher with 59 points in Calgary. So, oh, God. How I wish they were still a part of this team, and they are not. Down the AHL, dude named Sam Robertson. Absolutely killed it. I wanted to look at not St. John, Laval. I keep forgetting. I forget every now and then. I don't know why. I don't know how. But it happens. I wanted to look at the goaltending stats for Shea, who finished with a .919 save percentage in 30 games. not tremendous. But when talking about goalie prospects that were available, he was probably the best one. Which is just, again, kind of an indictment on how goalies have developed throughout the course. Because I can't hold up this yawn. How goalies have developed throughout the course of this series. The short answer to that is not well. Spike Richmond is, when he's the best option, that's how you kind of know. No offense to Mr. Richmond. I'm glad we were able to get you from Tampa. I'm also glad that Carey Price missed the playoffs. Instead, we get to play the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. I, of course, am looking forward to that matchup. We made the postseason. Bet you didn't think that was going to happen when this team had 12 contracts on it. But here we are in the postseason, and you never know what's going to happen once you get there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I did. It was fun. I don't know why. I enjoyed this episode, even though I am beyond tired. If you did enjoy the episode, of course, feel free to support the video and the channel if you haven't already. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Give me a follow on both of those platforms if you have not already. Twitter's great for updates as to when I post videos because YouTube can be very shitty and not alert you as to when a video's up. That's always fun, isn't it? Oh, even better when it unsubscribes you for no reason. Apparently that still happens. So yeah, following on Twitter can be a good idea, or the Discord as well. Do I have the link for the Discord? No, I don't. But if you go on Twitch, you hit the follow button, you scroll down a little bit, the Discord link will be there. So yeah, good things are happening. You just gotta give a little bit of effort to make it happen. I don't know what I'm talking about. I thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Take it easy. I'll catch you later.